strange time when you waking me.
Hello YouTube, welcome back, good morning. So we are on our way to get our bikinis.
Yes.
So if you haven't met Elle already, this is Ellis. Elle, introduce yourself. Who are you?
Hello. I am really sad because we saw a deer on the side of the road and it was a baby one. So you haven't caught me at my best time.
It's emotional.
No, I am a wellness athlete. Still feel a bit weird saying that because I've only competed for the first time last year. So so second time competing this year, and I'm also a personal trainer and an online coach. And we got really early to go do our cardio. Amy got up earlier than me.
Yeah, so it's a rest day today, which is good actually, because obviously we've got this long drive up, and I got to do 55 minutes on the stairs now, so I had to basically get up at 4:30, do 55 minutes on the stairs, and you came and met me for some steps.
Yeah, I had to do my check-in first of all.
Oh yeah, you had your check-in.
And so I was trying to get the lighting right, because obviously I wasn't used to that lighting, used to doing it at home, so did that, and then met Amy at the gym. So you were up at 4:30.
Yeah, 4:30 today,
which is pretty darn early.
Yeah.
And now we're off. We've been driving for 45 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
So we're going to stop and have breakfast and get coffee. So we haven't had coffee yet.
Yeah.
But I wanted to savour the taste of the coffee from Starbucks. So much excited about that.
Yeah. What are you going to get?
Iced, because I'm into the ice at the moment because this is in summer.
Yeah.
My usual order is an iced Americano, but then I asked for them to add like a tiny bit of oat milk and then sugar-free hazelnut.
Yeah.
But we can try and ask them to blend the ice, blend
that's what I want to try today. See if they blend it like a frappuccino, but instead of the milk, just blend it with water and then maybe add some sugar-free.
Yeah. You could. It's probably the same thing with doing the Americano. Like you've just got to be like blend it now, but they find it really confusing.
Yeah.
I used to ask them for it before, and they'd be like, "What, you want to blend ice?" Yes. Well, you blend ice anyway, but without milk. But anyway, we will try.
Yeah. We're obviously on our way up for our bikini fitting today. So Elle's actually a sponsored athlete of Black Ice Bikinis. That's the company that we're going to get the bikini fitting done. She's got a shop up in Manchester, so we go up here, we'll obviously get our measurements done, and then we're going to pick our colours and stuff.
Yeah,
so
very exciting.
Yeah, really excited.
She's got a really good process of an elimination if you aren't sure what colours, or even if you are sure on a colour, she kind of go through all the fabrics and kind of puts them against your shoulder and stuff. So it's really helpful because you can obviously do it online, but there's so many. So I just think it's so nice to do it in real life and go for everything and stuff. So you have a few colours in mind, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a couple of colours in mind. So have you, haven't you? So
exciting.
So we're obviously plan is to go up here. We're 8 weeks out this weekend, so just over halfway now, because we started about similar time, didn't we? Maybe you started a week before me, started prep. Is that right? About a week or two before, I think.
Yeah. I think I had a bit more to lose initially than you did.
Yeah.
So it was worth me starting a little bit earlier.
Yeah, because you did an off season, literally off your show, all the way until starting now, whereas I did a cut at Christmas. So our start points essentially were different. And that is something to note for people. Everyone's start position isn't going to be the same, is it?
And I was a little bit more. I would follow obviously all my plan in the week, and I was having an off-plan meal every week, but you weren't having an off-plan meal every week.
So my coach didn't really. And to be fair, that was one of the reasons why I went with her, because I don't really feel like I
You're not that food focused.
No, I'm not very food focused, and I feel like because my food was so high and it was foods that I enjoyed, and being a nutritionist, like I know how to swap things out. So like I knew, like, you know, if I had a bagel but, you know, I wanted
rice.
to swap it for rice, I knew how to do that. So I didn't feel like restricted like by that. Like I could still go to my mum's and have a Sunday dinner and just basically it could still be in my meal plan.
So it felt like you weren't like really, really rigid. You could have a bit of flexibility.
And like for you, it's probably nice for you and Dan to have a nice meal every week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the main reason for it, really. Like just being able to like do something with Dan, and because Dan, my partner, Big Pill Nasty, if you don't know him, but he's loud and annoying, so you probably do know him. He's starting prep. He started prep as well at the same time as us. It's a bit slidey. He started prep a little bit after me, probably about a month after, just because he doesn't really need to like be very aggressive with his diet. He eats so much that when he drops a little bit, he can just easily like lose weight, and his steps at the moment have gone up to a whopping 6k. So he's obviously it's not a struggle yet for him. So so we were able just to have a nice meal.
And how are you finding prepping together? Because obviously this is the first time that you and him have both prepped at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, and do you know what? So far, I know it's like we've still got 8 weeks of the first one, but so far it's actually been so much easier than what it ever has been, because I've been with Dan where he's done a good 3-4 shows when we've been together, and that was much harder. I think although his actual his preps were probably a lot harder as well, because a couple of years he prepped himself and he just dug himself into the ground, where he kind of didn't realise back then that actually sometimes less is more. And when you prep yourself, you kind of think more is more. So when he met Anth, the last like couple of preps have been actually smoother and like not easier, but you're not sort of
I think it's so important to have a coach. Oh my god, if I tried to coach myself, I probably would look like a stringy rat. Yeah,
because you think, right, I need to do extra cardio, I need to eat less, and it's just constant, but actually that's not always the way. So since he's been with Anth, he said that preps have been the easiest he's done. So he actually ended up doing less and eating more. So you know, so much better for you, for how you look and how you feel. So it's that's cool.
Yeah. So obviously I asked on my Insta for some questions, because we thought it would be quite cool just to answer some questions while we were driving up. So
I can get some of mine up first.
You get your ones up, and then I've got mine on my phone. I read through some of them last night.
We thought it would be kind of interesting as well, because it's like same category, and wellness is kind of.
So we're doing the same category. We're being different classes. So what that means, if people aren't into the bodybuilding shows, obviously you typically will have height classes, because obviously your body's going to look really different. Like that was one of the questions actually, wasn't it, Elle, about the difference between me and you? Yeah, so maybe we'll start with that one.
So it was, what's the difference in weight and height between you both? Because I guess on Instagram people see us together and we train every week together and stuff. So and we were talking before we started filming about how, you know, bodybuilding is an illusion. So someone's weight and height could be completely different, and someone could be much lighter, but on stage they could look much bigger than a heavier person.
Totally.
It kind of doesn't matter, but it's still interesting at the same time. So what is our height difference? So I'm 5'8", and you're 5'3". 3, yeah.
So 5.
And although for wellness though, I wish I was shorter, because when you're shorter, obviously you look sort of wider that way, and wellness is about the thickness and it's if I was doing bikini it would be a different story, but I'm not. And your weight is...
and I'm weighing at about today, but last time I weighed was 57.5.
And I am 70 just under 72 as of today.
Yeah, so what's the difference? It's quite a
Yeah,
big difference,
so
isn't it?
it's quite a big difference, but then at the same time,
Yeah.
because I'm 5 inches taller,
That's exactly
I've
where-
got to spread that area.
sides, haven't you?
Yeah. So just generally, you kind of have to do that when you're taller. You've got to, for bodybuilding, you've got to be heavier because you've got more area to fill out.
Yeah, and that, you know, with our category, they don't, obviously they do your height at the start to know which class for you to go in, and like I said, that they've got different classes for different heights because everybody's body's going to look different, but they don't do our weight or anything. Like some of the male classes, obviously it has to be a weight and height, isn't it?
Yeah. So Dan's a super heavy, so it's like over 220 pounds or 225 or something. So yeah, it's over with the guys.
So it's not about what you weigh on stage, it's just about, you know, what you look like, again, what the judges like, you know.
70 mph speed limit camera ahead.
Keeping us on track, thank you.
In 10 miles, keep right onto the M5.
Lovely, 10 miles. Yeah, so it's more to do with, like, you know, how you look at the end of the day, what the judges like, if you're their cup of tea at the end of the day.
Sometimes you could just you could have completely different looks, but you're both good, and it's just like potato. It depends on.
Literally that.
And it's very interesting in the pro. Obviously, where you're kind of following from now there's more pro shows, and there's been a lot more wellness pro shows. Basically, last year there was hardly any, other than a few in Brazil. So this year there being more, you're kind of seeing the trends. You're seeing like what they're like choosing, and especially at the moment it was really interesting because all of the pro show winners have been very small. They've been like under 5'4". I think Borges is 5'5".
Yeah.
And Eurishna's 5'4".
Yeah, and they've not necessarily gone for like the biggest legs. Like there has been women on the stage that had bigger legs, but again, it's about that, you know, although your lower body for wellness needs to look bigger than your upper body, you still need to look right. It still needs to look right, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
It still needs to flow with your upper body.
Yeah, definitely.
You can't just like have massive legs, oh, I'm wellness.
Well, they're just not going for like size all over. So if someone on stage has got the biggest legs, but actually their waist is big as well, or their upper body, they're going for like, actually they might favour someone who's not, maybe their legs aren't quite as big as the biggest legs on stage, but their waist is much smaller and their upper body is smaller, so actually the illusion is that they look more feminine, so they look more like what the wellness look is after. So again, it's like the illusion thing, but I'm saying it's interesting because the show the pro show that's just happened, the
70 mph speed limit
the top
camera ahead.
3 were all tall.
Yeah, really.
Which was interesting.
Yeah,
So
who knows? It's a new category, and that's why you have to go into it with, you know, an open mind.
And they're still finding what they want.
Because this is the first year that wellness is at Olympia, so that's like, you know, the top of the top. Olympia is like the show that you know, the pros are all inspiring to get to, and this is the first time that is. So until we've had that, I think it's really hard to know what like their real look, you know, top 3 of the Olympia will give you a really good indication of what the wellness is.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems to be very subjective, like bikini, that you have to work with what you've got. So it's not trying to kind of mimicking someone else, because they're like the best wellness athletes at the moment, they're all still very different. So like they're winning shows, but they don't all look the exact same, and that's exactly the same as pro bikini. Like they kind of favor, like, and I've heard before from watching videos and stuff about some of the top bikini girls like Laura Lee and Angelica and stuff. Their feedback is from different shows, is very different. So the judges like Laura Lee to come in fuller, because when she gets too lean, her tie-in's too deep or something like that. Whereas Angelica, they want her to come in leaner. So they tell you basically the look that they like on you, and then you have to do that. And then on the day, if they choose that, then that's it. But other than that, that's kind of what happens. Whereas, so it's a bit different than like figure and stuff. Bikini and wellness. I think wellness is going to follow in the bikini footsteps of like, it's kind of more luck, isn't it? Like you could, the top 5 Olympia bikini girls are all like amazing, but they're all a little bit different, and they might just choose.
And that was actually a question that I had. So a question that somebody asked me was, how do you feel about potentially competing against each other? Because we're obviously doing the same show, but we're in different classes. But basically what happens is, if you win your class, which is a big, who knows what's going to happen. Everyone goes to win, but at the end of the day, you just go to be your best, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, Lee just sent me a rude message, so I'm not going to read it out, but that's why I was smirking.
And they said, how do you feel about potentially competing against each other? And do you know what? It's not even really it's not even crossed my mind in a negative way.
No.
Because of exactly what we're saying. We are completely different in our heights, how our body is. Like, you've got a lovely hourglass shape, just naturally, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm more. I've got wider hips and
so whereas I've got quite narrow hips, I'm a lot shorter.
Yeah, so, exactly. And when we did posing as well, Tanya was saying how our actual poses and the routines and stuff, they're so different, so they're not trying to copy each other anyway. So
we're working with what I'm working, with what I've got, and you're working with what you've got, and I think that's and I think that's how you have to be in bodybuilding. Like, you cannot, and you can be down about you have to just be proud of what you've achieved, what you look like right now. Don't try and be somebody else.
Exactly.
Try and make yourself so good that is number one.
And the main part of the sport and the shows and stuff, I think, is making friends and meeting other girls that are doing the same shows, and if that's all part of it. So and the girls at the top, so the pros again, are setting the example, and they're all really close friends, and they compete against each other all the time, and they're so supportive of one another, because that's what it should be about. So I don't see why it should change. In an amateur league, it should be the same. I have said to someone the other day, they asked that sort of question, and I just said, if it's not my time now and it's Amy's time, then I'm going to be buzzing for Amy, and that's it. And that's all that needs to
that's literally it. The thing is, how much time and effort and sacrifice that person puts in, that how the hell can you be jealous about that unless you haven't worked for it? In life, when people put other people down because they've done amazing, 9 times out of 10 it's because they're like, shit, they've done really well, and I actually can't do that.
Exactly.
Whereas because we're both working just as hard as each other, you appreciate that. So therefore there's none of that.
Exactly. And you can't be jealous of someone else who's at a completely different story, though. Do you know what I mean? I fucking absolutely adore how Yurishna looks, but I'm not jealous of her, because I know that she's worked for a lot longer, and her life is different, and her genetic makeup is different, and you know what I mean, everything. So you can't be jealous of someone who's got a different story than you. They've been, Borges has been competing for 30 years or something. Not 30, maybe 25 or something.
She's for 16 years. I reckon she's going to win Olympia. Maybe top 2. Anyway, we get on to that. That'll be another question.
Well, since she's 15 and she's 40 now, so 25 years
she's 40,
she's been training.
and she's only just absolutely
at her peak,
smashing it now. And
So you can't be jealous of
yeah.
someone who's been training 25 years
Yeah,
when you've been,
sorry, but you have to laugh. We're like just tiny little babies compared to
just
her.
drops in the ocean.
Literally. Yeah, what was the next
Right, next question. So, this is a really good one actually, and this is from Alex. What, in your opinion, is the image of wellness? I was thinking about this last night before I went to bed. It's probably why I couldn't sleep. I was like, that's a good question. How, like, what is,
Use the
for
right
me,
things to keep
the
right
image of
speed.
wellness is, we could go down the more like logistical route of like the really thick tie-in, the deep tie-in, and the really developed glutes.
If anyone doesn't know what a tie-in is, at the bottom of your glute, it's like a little triangle that everyone aims for.
Yeah.
Okay.
And basically, like the deeper, the more
deeper that-
developed, it seems to be like the thing that
The
wins.
thing that they love.
But if we're going to use it as like just describing words, femininity is like the main thing.
Yeah.
It needs to remain feminine, and that's what some people are starting to forget because they're chasing the size. So then the drugs they add more and more drugs, which is not what it should be about, because the ones that are at the top that are still very feminine, they have spent a long amount of time
Training.
instead of trying to rush it with drugs. And not to say that at the top they didn't use drugs, because they probably do, but so yeah, so femininity, main thing, like, and it's like strong but curves.
Yeah,
Like
you need
those-
to look like, God, that woman goes to the gym and trains legs. But equally, like,
It's like, how does she look curvy but muscly at the same time?
Yeah.
That's like very, and like full and
yeah, because that's the thing. The difference between the next category up is they don't want your quads to be like absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
They want them to be like toned but full. Now that actually can be really hard to achieve, because you might be somebody that just actually doesn't hold much fat in your quads. So as soon as you start leaning out, you start getting lines.
yeah.
But yet you could have really wellness legs.
Yeah.
So again, that comes down to a bit of genetics, where your body loses your body fat from.
Yeah, it's the same with like when wellness started to become popular. A lot of girls thought that they would be good at doing it, which is a normal thing to think, because they are very lower body dominant, because they hold their fat there, and they've got just fat bums.
Yeah.
But that is actually not what wellness is, and
It's about the muscle.
yeah, so you have to have a lot of muscle on your glutes and legs, and it can't just be from fat, basically.
Yeah.
What's your describe? Or what would you? How would you? I mean, feminines, I guess, is like the
Yeah,
main.
I think a well-developed lower body with a small waist.
Yeah, the small waist thing is also seems to be like a big
The weight,
thing.
you like your waist to hip ratio, but not like fat. Like through,
Yeah.
like through it like being muscle, because if you have a bigger bum and you've got bigger legs through muscle, it's going to bring the illusion that you've got a smaller waist.
Yeah, exactly.
So then if you've got a smaller waist anyway, it's going to really, accentuate that. And a lot of the wellness pros that are doing really well have got that.
Yeah, and to have your upper body or your lats and stuff like kind of built enough so you can create an illusion where it does go a bit more like that, but not to the point where your upper body's now going to be bigger than or look too bigger than your lower body. So it is a hard thing to.
It's a hard one, but yeah, I would say that's well-developed legs, little waist, still look feminine.
Yeah, and like
That would be mine.
yeah, just to look still like it's kind of like it's very powerful because it's very womanly, but then it's got this
It's
like
like
element of like
down.
muscle. So
We do our squats.
yeah.
Yeah.
So other questions. Did you both always know that you'd go for wellness? For me, yes. I'm going to answer my little story about. So before wellness was this, and this is me not saying that I knew that I could do it. I just loved the look, and I knew that I would be a long way off. So that was just to let you know that I didn't think that I was big enough for a really long time, and I still don't. Just so you know. But I've got a picture of Angela Borges on my Instagram from some 7 years ago.
Yeah.
That is actually on my like actual grid that I just wrote like goals.
Our coach will let us have one of those.
Yeah. You're gonna have
Just
a
having one
matter.
of those. Oh shit, I ain't got my mask. Hang on. Bloody masks. Still keep forgetting about the mask situation. So we're just stopping at the services now. We're going to get our drink. We're a bit annoyed though because it's a Costa and we prefer Starbucks for the iced stuff. Anyway.
I felt anonymous.
Woo! Gotta check yourself out in the selfie mirrors.
No legs getting too big, you know that.
Get your abs out. You're on prep, you just basically look at all the things that you... Oh, they do like Percy Pig mini bites. Oh, what are they like? Just basically all the food you can't eat. Have rice cakes, look at these. Oh my god. 90.
Scan your smartphone card for a chance to get your shopping.
M&S. Rating those.
Oh, that's really nice too.
Not today. 6 of the coffees instead. Our coffees. That was interesting. We asked for blended Americano, didn't we, with like a dash of milk and sugar free, and they didn't have a clue what we were asking for.
Yeah, it
and
was
now
painful.
we've got this frothy, not
Half a coffee.
not sweet half coffee, but right, this is our meal one, so we haven't eaten yet. What have you got in your little
I've just got 3 eggs and toast, but
Yummy.
actually is like the nicest thing ever when you're
Yeah.
on a diet.
yeah, because I've literally got just eggs and veg. Poverty. Oh well. Right, that was services, so we're now gonna eat and then get the last
Hour.
hour done before we go there. Here we are. So we've made it. We made it. Woo! So yeah, gonna go in now, get measured up, and pick our beautiful colours.
And you were someone who reminded me who I used to be. I need aloneness to
I'll get you fitted, get you in a base style, then we'll pull some purple fabrics,
Yeah.
then we'll do the connector pick out and all that sort of stuff.
know there's nothing that I can't turn into confidence. I couldn't play pretend, and I'm sorry that you had to pay the consequences. Oh no, it had to break.
Oh. That's cute. Oh, they're nice.
Yeah.
They're the like the rain, the Brazilian one.
Use the left 2 lanes to
Cheers!
keep
Oh.
the M56 towards 8556.
Nice.
Nice.
Peachy.
Yeah, it is peachy. Peachy fizz.
I thought that the orange and purple should have been passion fruit. IMO.
Which one is that?
No, like the colours.
Oh,
orange
the colours.
And purple.
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean.
So like orange and purple passion fruit colours.
Yeah, it's nice.
Should we do some more questions?
Yeah, let's do some
Okay, so more questions.
question time. Sorry, the camera cut off earlier. Apparently it overheated. And I need to get in that mate.
You can get like dashboard cam thing.
Cams, yeah. I'm not that, techie yet with the gadgets. So one of the questions that I had actually was like the best wellness split. So like training split for wellness. And I've actually done a mixture like previously in lockdown. And I feel like I made quite a lot of progress in lockdown. I was doing a glutes focus session, a quads focus session and a legs focus session, and then 2 upper bodies. Obviously not in that specific order. And that was good. So again, 3 legs, 2 upper. What do you do, Al?
Yeah, I've kept my days the same from kind of from off after show last year into off season into prep. So my rest days are the same as well. So I rest on a Tuesday and a Saturday, and then I do kind of start the week with a Sunday, which is like a big leg session. Upper Monday, so I don't do push and pull, I just mix my uppers, which is what Dan Albert got me to do. And then Wednesday 4 legs again, so Sunday is 4 legs, and then Friday is a little bit more glute and ham focused, and I've got calves on 2 out of the 3 sessions because I've got no calves.
No, your legs are massive, so your quads are out doing your calfies at the moment. But at the moment, my split is actually different to what I was doing in lockdown. So I'm actually doing Monday. I do push. Tuesday I do legs pull. So like half legs. Quite a lot of like high volume supersets in there with a few pull exercises, so mainly like pull downs and rows and pull ups. And then I do rest on a Wednesday, and then Thursday I do legs, and then Friday I do push again. And I always have abs actually on those.
Yeah. No, sorry, I do. I thought you meant I've always got abs. I was like, yeah, Amy always has abs.
I got a couple of ab exercises, just like rope crunches and leg raises, and then rest on a Saturday, and then legs again on a Wednesday. So again, it's pretty much legs 3 times a week, and you're legs 3 times a week.
Yeah.
I think that is a common theme. Wellness people, competitors, if you're looking to grow your legs, it seems to be 3 times a week. And I just think women in general can do more volume for legs than men.
But some wellness girls actually that do 4 legs.
Yeah.
But I don't personally feel like I would recover.
No, I
from that.
I don't think I would.
Yeah.
I know some girls that do quads, glute hams, rest, repeat. So they literally don't even train their upper body, because it depends. You still need to have muscle on your upper body, because otherwise that would just look really silly if you had loads of muscle on the lower and you were just
nothing
really
at all,
nothing on the top. But for some people, they might have already developed that amount of muscle on top to be able to just not really train their upper body. So some people might literally train their upper body once a week, which means that then they might chuck an extra day in. But yeah, so I would say the best split is legs 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And then upper body 2 to 1, depending on your, like, how developed your upper is, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd agree. Couple of quite good. This is quite a quick question that we can answer. Favourite wellness athletes, pro athletes. Okay, so who's your number 1?
Angela.
Yeah, Angela is the OG, isn't she?
Yeah, literally.
When I think of my favourite, obviously Angela is definitely like up there, but for some reason, and I think it's because I find her physique so like the ratios are so mad, is Francelle. I really love Francelle.
So yeah, my top 3 is Angela, Issa, little Issa, she's only like 24, and Francelle.
Yeah, it's bad that Francelle's like a mother of 2 kids.
I know, but that's just very inspiring that you can look like that and have kids.
And I like that Francelle's very,
like that.
very feminine as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, Angela, Francelle. What's my 3rd? I really love. I don't think she's got made to got an invite to the Olympia yet, but I really love Bruna. Her name's like Bruna Farrar something, but her glutes are absolutely mad. So
a lot of them I can't even pronounce the name, to be honest.
Yeah.
Brazilian, Portuguese.
Also really like that Rain.
She's had to she was a lot bigger, and then she's actually had to like almost downsize a bit to fit into the wellness category. So again, it's not always about mass. Size legs.
Well, Angela's kind of been shrinking her legs
And
for
Angela's
a while.
done that, yeah. So yeah.
I do love Urishna.
Yeah.
Obviously, everyone loves Urishna. I also love the tall ladies, Casey and Lolly, because they're tall and that's amazing.
Yeah.
There's loads, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's so many. Yeah, there's absolutely loads.
Yeah.
This is quite a good question. How long did you spend in your first off season? So for me, my first ever off season was not last year, it was the year before, so it was 2019. Because I didn't prep, I didn't do a competition, sorry, but I dieted for a photo shoot just to see if I could handle the diet, where I adhered to it the whole time.
That's really important to note, isn't it, that you should do that?
Yeah.
Because, well, you say why?
Just to see if you can actually handle it.
Yeah, because there's a difference between dieting and there's a difference between dieting to get stage lean. Like, you don't need to be stage lean at any point in your life unless you're going to get on stage. Don't you agree? Like,
yeah, it's a different level.
That level, like that.
dieting.
You know, you can very lean, yes. Like, you might want to look like that for a holiday or for a photo shoot. So it does take a lot of sacrifice, and it will mentally challenge you at a lot of points. So I think doing a little bit of a test run like you did is a really good indication of whether you want to put yourself through all of it, because it's
definitely. And it was good to see obviously what I actually looked like lean as well, because obviously I knew that, especially wellness, the growing legs will never probably end, but just to see where I was at. So I did that, and then I started working with Dan Welburn, and then did my first ever like off season, and had a coach. That was the first time I got a coach. So I spent from September to February in a growing season. Then I started prep, but then I was on prep for 10 weeks and then had to stop because of COVID, and then held for a while and then restarted prep again. So I did that first off season, and then my second off season was last year after my first show, which again was from October. It was October to May. So 7 months. I don't know. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, it's about the same. So I've always come off of the show. So yeah, you're looking at October, and then I think the earliest I've ever started a prep would be like March, April time. So
the same.
Yeah, about the same. 6 or 7 months is the longest, because even though I've taken a whole year out last year to not compete, I still did mini cuts, because I do believe that, well, my body, your body, I think is different, but for me, if I just kept growing, I would just get fat, and then it wouldn't be as effective.
I think our levels of being comfortable at certain weights are different as well. So I could handle being a bit fatter, whereas I don't think you could handle it.
No, I do very well. There's a certain point where you're like, with anything, when you put on a bit of weight and then you're like, right, no, it's enough is enough. Everybody has that point, like, no, it's enough. So I think we're slightly different, and I think maybe because you're a lot taller, if you put on 3 pounds, that wouldn't look as bad as me.
And I think with me, I've used to seen myself be so many different weights.
Yeah.
Because when I was at my biggest, I lost 5.5 stone when I was younger, so I have been bigger. Whereas if you've never been you guess you've never seen yourself like fat. Whereas I have.
Yeah, I've been I felt fat, but I know, if I'm being honest, I've never been a fat person.
Yeah. And that's just person dependent, isn't it? You've got to do what feels.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, I didn't feel really comfortable, and I don't think that Dan Welborn would have let me get like
70 mile per hour.
really sloppy, but it was just making sure, you know.
And that was another question that I had. Someone said, how do you deal with going from a cut to a bulk? So essentially, how do you go from being lean to your improvement season? And I think you have to go through that season and see the improvements to understand what an improvement, like
the benefits
of it. And then it's almost like, well, actually, I know I can get the fat off. Like losing weight, like the science of it is relatively simple. Like it's just whether your mind's in it, you know, whether your body's in a good place to not be stressed from it. So once you know I can get lean, but you also know that being, you know, in a growing phase is what's going to change your shape. That's going to make you more conditioned on show day.
Once you've done it once, you trust yourself and you have the confidence in yourself to know that actually it's like opening a wardrobe and being like, right, I'm gonna choose my lean outfit now, so you know that you can do it. So actually that's half of the problem. If you have never done it and never got, you know, stage lean or near stage lean, you don't actually trust yourself to be able to know that, you know, if you know that you can do it, then you know that you can do it, and then gaining weight actually doesn't seem very scary because you know that your weight is seasonal, and that makes it a lot less daunting because you know you're not going to be like that forever, and you change your focus of what you're like when you're prepping. It's about condition and everything, and when you're in an off season you put more focus into your strength and your training, so you just don't obsess about how you look because you know there's a reason behind it. So just like and if you're looking at yourself in the mirror every day in your off season, like just get over it. Do you know what I mean?
Like it's, I always say to my clients, it's in, you know, when you're trying to grow muscle or just you're in a maintenance phase, the goal isn't to diet, you should be focusing on that internal feeling. Like, are you feeling strong in the gym? You know, are you feeling you know, good relationship with food? Because that's something in your off season you can like have meals out, you haven't got to say no to things. And so therefore it then makes it a lot easier when you then do diet to be like, well, actually I can say no for a couple of months because actually in my off season, you know, I can do all of those things. And you've just got to accept that to look how you want to look, you cannot look like that all the time. No.
Like you have to, Dan always says you kind of like, no one looks how you think they look on Instagram all the time.
No.
Unless you are very much at the top and you've already done everything that you needed to do. Let's say like Angela again, who's been training for 25 years, who just basically fucks around in the gym now. She doesn't need to do anything. No. She just needs to keep what she's doing. So
but everyone will get to that point. Like I'll get to a point, you'll get to a point where the goal, I won't want to put on any more muscle on my body, and therefore I will just work out what my maintenance is, and that would be the goal. I just, you know, go to the gym, you know, train hard, but I won't be eating in a surplus. So therefore I won't be putting on body fat, but then equally I'll be eating a good amount of calories, you know, to function, to have a good relationship with everything. And it'll be what it is.
I think it's important to not look at things at face value, like as it is when it is, and just accept that there's a reason behind why you're doing it, and that kind of gives you peace of mind to know that what you are doing is right. And although at that point it doesn't seem like it's right, you've got to trust it.
Yes.
Well, that's why they say trust the process all the bloody time.
Trust the process. Put some baggy tops on when you're training.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, enjoy the fact that you're eating and you're not dieting, because when you're dieting, you're bloody hungry.
Yeah.
Your mind starts playing funny games with you. You have to say no to stuff. So just think about, you don't have to do any of that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And that you're getting strong as fuck in the gym, which is great. Sorry, excuse my French.
Next one. What would be your advice for first timers wanting to do wellness? So that's a hard question to answer because it's not like like bikini where you could maybe train for a couple of years and then jump into it, because with wellness you do need to have a certain amount of years under your belt, unless obviously you're just some random genetic freak, or you did like a lot of sports when you were younger, let's say, so you naturally had like a lot of muscle in your lower body. So I would say, first of all, make sure that you do feel like you've got the muscle in your lower body.
And don't be afraid to be like, I haven't got muscle, but I do want to do wellness. Okay, well then go away and do the wellness style training for a while.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like my first time competing, I'm not saying that I had enough muscle in my lower body, because I would never be satisfied.
You definitely will wellness.
But for a first timer, I did spend like 6+ years training before I became a first timer, so I definitely didn't jump into it after a year or two. So I would say that's really important if you actually do want to like do all right.
Yeah.
If you just want to experience it, then experience it. But
that was kind of this, like, I'd been training probably been weight training like 2 years. Then I had a coach, and he was like, "Oh, have you ever thought about competing?" And I was like, "What is that?" Like, I didn't even know what the competing world was, but I was doing a very similar lifestyle in the sense that I was eating well, you know, quite good at the process, I suppose, of it all. But my body was too big. I was probably too big for bikini, but I wasn't big enough for wellness.
Yeah.
But at the time, wellness wasn't around in the NPC league. The UK BFF, who I competed with, their look is more of like basically a bikini with slightly more muscle, but they still look for that like X-framey type thing. So I actually was suited to that. And then the NPC league came around, but I still knew I wasn't big enough for that league. So that's why I did another year with the UK BFF.
And we're back. What a long day. So it was up at 5:30 for this bikini fitting. 5:30? No, I was up at 4:30 because I've got to do fasted cardio, which means I have to do that first thing in the morning. And I don't know whether if I'd have asked, I could have changed it, but it is what it is, and I'm very routiney with prep, so I'm doing fasted cardio, which meant I had to get up and do that before we left. So yeah, got up at 4:30, did cardio, did steps, then we drove to Manchester. Obviously you've seen how it is, picked the bikini, you pick the fabrics, you pick the sequin. So I actually won't see it until it actually arrives, which is about, I think, 3 weeks before. I have to send another measurement, like I have to measure myself again on the 5th of August, just in case I've changed shape, but I don't think where I have to re-measure, I don't think I will lose any more weight from those areas. So fingers crossed, the bikini will just be perfect. So I can't wait to show you that when it arrives. And it's really nice because the last time that I competed, I just bought them online, so it's a really nice experience to go. Mandy was lovely. It just makes it special because you're working so hard for this moment. So yeah, that was what we did. Obviously, you know, we answered some questions, so thank you for those of you that gave us the questions. It was quite a lot, so we had to just answer as many as we could without this vlog going on for hours. So yeah, I'm home now. I'm so glad that I got up and did the cardio and the steps, because my steps are all done. I can just now literally sit and chill. I've got 1 meal to go, and then Sunday tomorrow, so be a nice little lie-in, although I struggle to lie in at the moment, so I think it'd just be a get up, do cardio, but no, I don't have loads and loads of work on a Sunday. I try and give myself at least one day where I haven't got to be, like, have my teacher hat on, you know. I think it's really important that my brain isn't always thinking about nutrition and training and motivating and helping people. Sometimes it's good to just have a little break. So yeah, so thank you for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed, got a little insight into what it's like. what are we now? 8 weeks out. So yeah, things are starting to ramp up. I expect there'll be some more changes this week, which I will, you know, keep these going and keep you informed. But thank you so much for watching. Keep liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Appreciate you all watching, and I will see you on the next one.